Dubai is going through its second phase of growth spurt, which I personally feel is great because it's attracting those people with 10 to $100 million plus who are looking to build a stable portfolio of investment properties in Dubai. In this three-part series, I'm going to give you some basic guidelines on how you can, if you're looking to build a portfolio in Dubai, start from scratch and hopefully build an amazing diversified investment portfolio of good properties in Dubai. In this three-part video series, I'm going to share with you from my perspective how best you can build an investment portfolio in Dubai, okay? So you're building an investment portfolio of properties in Dubai. Now, before we go further, don't forget there is a link below. If you want to work with us, just hit it, click it. And obviously, if you want to show us some love in the comment section, just put your comments down over there. We'll be more than happy to actually take up your questions and answer them, okay? And if you feel like, since you're here, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. Okay, there's three parts, okay? And then there's three overarching parts as a summary. And then this is going to be a 10-part video that's going to be divided into three videos so I can give you as much information as I personally can, okay? Essentially speaking, what's super critical when you're looking to build a portfolio, you're looking to invest maybe 10 million, up to 100 million, perhaps $1 billion in the Dubai market, right? You've got to come at this from a strategic perspective, which means the strategy and strategic planning is super essential. You just don't simply walk into the market in Dubai and just start looking at and picking up things, right? Because there's plenty of salespeople who'll sell you whatever is hot for the day. But you've got to come in with a strategy and a plan in your mind, put on paper, not just in your mind, but from your mind, put on paper, and then go into the market. The second overarching summary of this entire three-part video is that you do research, perhaps a day, perhaps 10 days, perhaps a month, before you touch ground on the market and start buying properties, okay? Research is your friend. It's critical because it gives you the necessary knowledge to be able to pull the trigger and make the decision while evaluating the risk and the opportunity side of each decision. Last but not the least, from your strategy, from your research, will come the strategic decision making and implementation, because without using your strategy and your plan and then applying the strategy at the bottom and implementing it and letting the decisions be guided with that strategy, it's useless, right? Now, this is a 10-part series. In this first part, I'm going to talk about how you can actually define your goals, how do you diversify, and then last but not the least, how do you actually look at from an investment horizon, which areas to focus on, okay? So let's get into the nitty-gritty, the first part, okay? So let's just move this over here. I want to talk about, let's do this. I want to talk about, before you go anywhere, you've got to obviously, let me know if this is big enough, define your goals, all right? Your ultimate investment objectives, okay? Perhaps you've got a very steady stream of income already being generated from other properties or other businesses, or perhaps you don't, and you're looking for some solid rental income. So part of your investment objectives could be, or your goals could be that, you know, your investment objectives include that I want a solid rental income. Perhaps you're not so focused on solid rental income because perhaps that is chump change for you, you know, getting a 7%, 8%, 9% return on capital deployed per annum. Perhaps you already are used to that. Perhaps you want bigger gains, right? So maybe you're looking not just for rental income, but then capital appreciation, long and short term. What do I mean by long term? Perhaps you're looking for 3 to 5 years horizon in terms of your capital appreciation. Perhaps you're looking for a very short term, quick turnaround. Last but not the least, you're going to think about how do I diversify my investment? And amongst all of this, you're also going to be identifying your risk tolerance. So how averse or how favorable are you with risk? How much do you love risk? How much do you want to kiss risk, right? On the mouth. Now, what do I mean by this, okay? For some people, if they lose 10% of their capital deployed, it's the end of the world, okay? Whereas for other people, they're okay. If they can lose 10%, 20% but gain 30%, they're okay. Their risk tolerance is very high. And of course, as an advisor, the way you would be, or if you were advising yourself, the way you would define your risk tolerance is also to do with how old you are in the game, right? So if you're still young, let's say less than 40, less than 30, you can obviously be more risk tolerant, right? Now, beyond 40, if you're 50, 60, 70, doesn't mean you're old, you're still young, but perhaps you don't want to expose too much money out there, okay? So this is something you've got to define. And again, in your investment objectives, again, your investment horizon should also be very, very clearly defined, okay? So are you looking at a 2-year return, or are you looking to stay in the market for 10 years? All of this comes under defining your goals. These are things that you need to know before you actually go into the market, because this sets the base, the foundation of your strategy. Now, as I said, this is part of the strategy, but let's say after you go into the market, what are the things you're looking at? We're looking at a couple of things that are super important. Remember, I talked about research, study the market. This is very critical, okay, guys? Take your time to studying the market, understand the trends, okay? What's been the trend from 2002 to 2008 in the market? What's been the trend from 2009 to 2012 in the market? What's been the trend from 2013 to 2020, which was the pandemic year? And what's been the trend from 2020 and beyond? I'll give you some information with regards to the trends from 2020 post-pandemic, okay? In Dubai, post-pandemic, the luxury market has done tremendously, amazingly well. Why? Because we've attracted high net worth individuals from across the globe that wanted to call Dubai home. Why? Again, tax-free, income tax-free, corporate tax-free, corporate tax is coming in the next few years, but then it was corporate tax-free, income tax-free, corporate tax-free, sun, sand, but post-pandemic, it was one of the earliest cities or countries that was opening up to a safe environment, right? So there were other countries who never went into lockdown, right? Some of the Scandinavian countries, some countries in Brazil. Dubai went into lockdown. It was smart. They got people vaccinated, and then they opened up to a very safe environment. So people who were kind of like tough, stuck out, out there in New Zealand or Australia or China perhaps, where the lockdowns are very severe, especially people with money who could take a private jet and come into Dubai, they chose to move to Dubai. And obviously, when people come with some money, they come with some taste. And generally that taste is for, they have an affinity for the more expensive things in life, right? Which means high-end luxury, okay? You're going to be also doing a lot of research on neighborhoods, okay? How many neighborhoods in Dubai, okay? I'm going to tell you, in Dubai, there are approximately about 30 to 50 areas which are freehold. Out of that, maybe about 20 to 25 areas which are freehold, but then there are independent buildings, projects, areas which are also freehold, right? So understanding the neighborhoods and then what they cater to is super critical, super important, right? What about the property types, okay? Which ones do well? Which have done well? Researching the market will actually tell you that townhouses, villas were not necessarily performing extremely well before 2019 and 20, which was the pandemic, but post 2020, post-pandemic, they've done really, really well, okay? You're also looking at supply and demand, okay? What's in more supply right now and what's in more demand right now, okay? I can tell you now, quick pro tip, A-grade commercial office space in the freehold area is extremely lacking in supply, okay? We have a short supply of A-grade office area in Dubai, okay? Now, granted, the world is changing. Post-pandemic, multi-million dollar companies are working from home, but all of that is in flux, right? Whereas companies sent workers home, they're also bringing them back. Tesla, for instance. But then, like warehouse space, stuff like that. You've got to understand that on the commercial side, there is a shortage of good office space, good warehouse space, right? And demand, I don't know, like you got to estimate how the demand is going to be growing, okay? Now, also, when you're doing your research, you would look at price fluctuations and rental yields, okay? So something that you've got to pay attention to. What's happened with rental yields and price fluctuations? Post-pandemic, prices have gone up by maybe 30, maybe 20, 30, 40%. Different areas, different price fluctuations. Rental yields have not kept abreast or not kept the same pace. Simple reason, people rented during the pandemic. Dubai has a certain kind of rent control or rent management system, okay? It's getting improved as we speak. However, that means that prices go up by 40%. Rents can't go up by 40%, right? It's kind of unfair to the tenant who's in a job, right? Which tenant can actually pay you 40% increase in rent over 1 year? It's kind of like ridiculous. It's very difficult. It's not easily manageable by the tenant, okay? So price fluctuations and rental yields, okay? All of this comes under the purview of researching the market. So before you start going out to build your portfolio, the research of the market needs to be done by you, okay? Third point I'm going to discuss in this video is diversifying, okay? Now, the ultimate diversification happens in a REIT, a real estate investment trust, where ultimately managers who are super qualified run your investments and then diversify across the board. Now, we have certain REITs in Dubai. There's 2 or 3 that are licensed by the government. They're operating. I personally have seen them perform normally. They don't exceedingly perform amazingly. They perform normally. And then the so-called managers, of course, they take their bonuses and cuts. I personally, at this moment in time, take a more hands-on approach. And if you've got the time, if you've got a manager of your wealth, let them get in touch with us and we will guide them on building a good portfolio in Dubai, where ultimately you are a decision maker on where the money is getting deployed. If that is your thing. If you don't want to make the decisions, then we have a methodology where we can actually have checks and balances in place where we help you make the decisions without you actually having to go through all this work yourself, okay? Third point I want to discuss in this video is diversifying, okay? Diversifying means, again, apartments, villas, townhouses. While villas and townhouses performed very well pre-2019, post-2020, they didn't perform very well pre-2019, post-2020, they've been performing very, very well. But at the end of the day, you're still looking to actually purchase value, okay? So while you're diversifying, you're purchasing value. Off-plan, right? Off-plan's been performing very well for the last 2 years. The capital appreciation in off-plan is actually higher than the rental income that you can gain at the moment. So if you can actually gain 7% rental income, capital appreciation is running anywhere between 10% to 20% on the right projects in off-plan year on year. Okay, so if you buy a property worth $1 million dirhams and you paid, well, I'm not going to get into the semantics and the exercise, but it's been doing fairly better. Okay, now it doesn't mean that all off-plan is good. You've still got to see where, what, how, and are you buying value that fits your overall portfolio's management strategy, okay? Last but not the least, locations are very, very important because you're looking at the end of the day to minimize, to spread your risk. Obviously, diversifying means you spread your risk and you maximize the returns, okay? Ray Dalio, in his book, talks about these principles. Diversifying risk is the ultimate strategy because it actually helps you beat the market year on year because your risks diversified. So even if one part of your portfolio performs average in 1 year, the other part might actually perform really, really good. If everything performs really poorly, then the whole market's performing really poorly, okay? So these 3 things, okay? Have an investment objective clearly defined in place. Research the market and then look to diversify your portfolio, okay? These are the three critical categories to start with. The next video, I'm going to be talking about how to focus in high demand areas. What is the legal framework you should understand and put in place for your entire portfolio and its protection? And last but not the least, financing. How do you go about it and getting it, okay? There's going to be a link below if you want to work with us. You can always click it. Let's work together. The second part is also going to be linked below. If you're here, if you want to, click the like, subscribe, and bell icon, and show some love in the comment section. Ask me a question, I'll answer the question, all right? Ciao for now. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. My name is Fahd Dawood. I've been doing this for 15 plus years. I started in Toronto, Canada in 2006, and since 2007, I've been based in Dubai and doing real estate in Dubai. Look, if you're looking to work with me, there's a form below and my mobile number. I do paid consulting. You can also get help from my team for services. If you like the video, press the like button, press the subscribe and the bell icon, and share it with your friends who you feel would be able to benefit from the content of this video. Last but not the least, I'll repeat, me and my team's role is always going to be to help and select the best property for you. Your role will be to invest in that property, and we will in turn invest in your life and your future. Bye for now.